Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. In this episode, we are going to be reviewing the Hobie Round 7, which was held in Mallacoota on the 19th and 20th of October in 2024. It's a bit of a tricky show, this one. There's quite a lot to get through. And this is the last of the rounds for any of the series from last year before we get into the rest of the grand finals. So what I might do is roll the intros and I'm going to tell you all the stuff that kind of went down at this one. So here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here's your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right. So for this was one of the rounds that I was able to go to, and there was a couple of things that were happening leading into this event. Now, as we got closer and closer, we realized, or that everyone realized, that there was going to be massive winds for that weekend, which was obviously not going to be very good for a Mallacoota round. And having moved it from the middle of the year, Hobie made the decision, which in my opinion was just genius, to move it up into the Wallaga River at the little caravan park there. And for me, that was great. And I'll get into why I thought that was great. So before we dive into this episode, look, I want to take a bit of time to talk about something that's pretty important, and it's about men's mental health. Anyone that's been a long-term listener will know that we have an association with the Fly program. The collective there, for every member, we donate just $1 a month for each member. So this month will be about $60-ish, somewhere around that figure. But this one, we're going to do a special fundraiser. So the title of the fundraiser is Stronger Together, the Fly program fundraiser. So in partnership with the Bream Fishing Project. And what this is, the initiative supports the Fly program, an incredible organisation that helps Aussie men through outdoor experiences like fly fishing and mountain biking. Bit more than just an escape, the Fly program provides men with mental tools they need to navigate life's challenges before they become overwhelming. Our fundraiser will run over around the next 4 weeks or so. I'll announce the dates probably by the time this goes to air. And this is a chance to get involved, to donate a little bit and make a difference. And look, how much to donate? I don't really know. I think about it when I go fishing with a mate. Would I, if my mate needed a lure, would I give him a $30 lure? I would without thinking. Would I give him a rod? Some mates, absolutely. Might give him a couple of $100 rods. I don't know. Maybe think about it in that terms about how much to donate. For every $1,400 that's donated, one guy gets to go away and participate in the program. So based on that, we've set a goal of $2,800, which I think we should hit very easily. But yeah, maybe think about what you could donate. I'm going to put the details on socials and Facebook, Instagram, or if you don't want to donate through that thing, you can contact me directly. You can put it straight into the Bream Fishing Project account and I'll transfer it directly. Anyway, what I'm going to do before we start, we're going to jump into the chat with Matt Trippett that I recorded back in April last year. It's been played once, I think, on the program, the Fly program, to hear how it works, and then we'll get into the episode. All right, so here I have Matt Trippett from the Fly program. So, mate, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, so Matt, mate, tell us first of all who you are and kind of what you do down there.
Sure. Well, my name is Matt Trippett. Used to be a school teacher and then went into the fly fishing industry as a teacher and casting instructor, guiding in the New South Wales Snowy Mountains since 2010. And I've been very, very fortunate to be able to do a lot with my passion for fly fishing professionally. And in 2016, founded the Fly program as a not-for-profit here in Australia. And that was through the circumstances of losing a brother-in-law to suicide and just feeling a great sense of purpose in my life to change the outcomes for somebody else. So using recreational fishing as an opportunity to engage Aussie men through life-changing experiences where we can support mental fitness and mental health within our Aussie male community.
Right. Okay. So since 2016, maybe give us a bit of a rundown of what the format of that is, of what you actually do when you turn up for the fly program.
Yeah, so we have a big focus around early intervention, prevention-based mental fitness, about equipping men with skills that they can use in their day-to-day lives. And we do that through the outdoors. So after a referral or a booking process comes in, and whether that be an individual makes that themselves, or a mate or a brother or a father or a wife does that for somebody in their lives, we have a 4-day base retreat here in the New South Wales Snowy Mountains. And as a part of that retreat, we use fly fishing as a main mechanism to help support amazing pathways where we can explore rivers and streams and lakes here in the mountains, but also, share some amazing dialogue around conversations, supporting blokes with new friendships and mateship. But we've got an amazing mental fitness curriculum that we've developed with professionals that gives us the toolboxes to be able to use when stress, anxiety, sadness comes into our lives. So it is very, very special. When that retreat finishes, we've got a 7-week program that continues from home. So through the support of facilitators, it's just weekly activities that men can be doing, staying engaged with their new friendship groups. And we really do create a brotherhood amongst our peers. And it's something that, we're really, really grateful to be a part of, and to see, this group of men just grow and grow and grow every year. It's really, really cool.
Right. I bet you must have some amazing stories of helping guys out and hopefully turning some situations around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, my wife and I still have the same sort of commitment from day one. Our commitment to the fly program and our service in the community through the fly program was to change the outcomes for one individual. And that still remains our number one priority. But, in the last, 7-8 years of operation, we were able to reflect on the fly program and see, well over 1,200 men go through this program now. And we know that there's been a lot of life-changing experiences and stories for men in our community who are a part of this family now.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so look, here at the Bream Fishing Project, as part of our new subscription service, what we're planning to do is do 2 things for you, hopefully. One is for every membership per month, we're going to just donate $1 from each membership. And then we're also going to put together and try and do a bit of a fundraiser to help support maybe 2 or 3 guys in the next 12 months to get down there and be part of the program. That's what I'm hoping to do for you, and hopefully the broader community from the Bream Fishing Project will get on board and put their hands in their pocket and just give a little bit back to the guys that are just struggling a little bit.
Oh, mate, that's awesome. And that's the beauty of what we can do as community members, approaching things that can be as difficult as mental health challenges, whether it be men or women. But it does affect so many of us in our community, and any support that we can receive that then can be shared with somebody else in our community is massive. And I certainly say to all of your listeners, as a health promotion charity, to any of your listeners, if you want to get out there and support us, create a profile through our fundraising link as well. And you can, if you want to fundraise $100 to $1,400, which it costs us to put a participant through the program, anybody can jump on that right now and get fundraising and use these funds to support more men into life-changing experiences here in the Snowies.
Cool. So if they want to come direct to you, so where would they go to first of all, to become part of the program and actually go on the program, and through to where would they donate?
Yeah, no worries. So obviously all of our community programs are live on our website. More information's on our website, and you can certainly email us at the Fly Program. Just look for the flyprogram.org.au and there will be email links there. If you're in a position to do a fundraiser for us, we'd love you to do that. Please jump on the fundraiser link on the website there as well, and you can create a profile just like a Movember Mobro, for instance.
Yeah.
And whether it be through your Bream fishing adventures that you might like to do something really extraordinary and raise a few bucks at the same time, that would just be massive. It would be such a wonderful support to us.
Yeah, and we here obviously would like to see that. And look, potentially there's people listening to the podcast that this might actually be a very beneficial thing to be part of, to go on and experience the Fly program.
Oh, there's no doubt. we said off air just a moment ago that half our Aussie population is going to be impacted directly by a mental health challenge at some point in their lives. And the other half, well, we're going to be indirectly impacted. So mental health really does matter. It's got to be front of mind. It's something that we can manage. It's 100% manageable. And so we look after our physical fitness by going for a walk or a jog or hitting the gym. We need to have the same mindset around our mental fitness, and exercising our minds is something that's really important for all of us, nobody excluded. So certainly we're going to have many listeners listening to this, and for many of us, we go fishing for the very reason around mindfulness and spending time in the great outdoors. They're the things that we share through our program, and I think there'll be certainly a lot of empathy towards maybe getting down and sharing a trip with us. It would be great.
Yeah, I think so. And in talking to you, a bit of your focus is on early intervention, so getting help to guys before they're in absolute crisis. So that kind of opens the doors to anyone that feels that this might be beneficial to get on there and apply.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so mental fitness, as I said, we're going to be exposed to trauma, challenges in our lives. We need to have a toolbox up our sleeve that can help us with that. Good friendship groups. For some people who have been through crisis in their lives and around their well-being and their mental health, we've had many, many guys come into our program post-clinical professional support from a doctor or a psychiatrist or psychologist, and have come through the program as a part of their strategy, getting their life in check and moving forwards with purpose, and sort of getting into society with energy and using their experiences that they can share with other guys as support. And it's just absolutely fantastic that we see this through the work that we're doing at the Fly program.
Mate, that is a great story. So look, if anyone's out there, like I said, there'll be a couple of ways to actually make a difference here. You can jump straight on to the flyprogram.org.au and donate directly there, or you can come through me as part of the subscription service and we'll donate a little bit there. But in addition to that, $1,400 to get a guy down there. And I know some of you guys have got decent amounts of money that would really help in this situation. So yeah, please feel free to jump on that.
Thanks very much for all the listeners, and tight lines. Enjoy your fishing.
Yeah, very good, Matt. All right, mate. It was great to talk to you, and we look forward to seeing how the next 12 months go, see how many people we can impact.
Unreal. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get into this episode. So back on the 19th and 20th of October, see, I love this round, apart from the incident that we just spoke about. It was the chance to go upriver and fish snags for 3 days and pull black brim out of them. And once I worked out what to do, I got a bunch of fish. It was a really, really good round. Let me roll. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the tides and bite periods, and then I'll tell you about my experience. Then we'll get into the anglers. How about that? Get into the guys who did really well. All right. So on the Saturday, we had 80 in the fish activity wheel with a minor bite period at 6:10 through to 7:40. Major bite period right at the back end of the session at 1:02 to 3:32. High tide was at 10:09 at 1.52 metres. Low tide at 4:42 p.m. at 0.1. On the Sunday, we were backed up with slightly lower in the fish activity wheel. 66 with a minor bite period at 6:48 through to 8:18. High tide was at 10:53 a.m. at 1.53 metres. Low tide was at 5:36 p.m. at 0.13. It should be noted that these tides were measured down at the front of the system and we were pretty far upriver, so the tides in actual fact were quite different to that. It was also an extremely windy weekend, and being up in the creeks, we were actually able to fish quite well. There was only a couple of times where personally I got blown around, but for the most part, it was very fishable. A couple of things I've kind of learnt. I hadn't fished snags like that for a while, so I was throwing, I think, SL remixes. I started off on the Saturday with nail bombs on those, so that's a weedless hook with a round lead weight on the end. So it's a jig head on a worm hook. So I was throwing those into snags, and I was using SL remixes, which I'd cut down and then put a rubber string back through it to make it float down more evenly. And then on the Sunday, I'd actually change back just to go back to a normal jig head, so a hidden weight, a 128. What I found was I just kept missing fish, and all that I did was when I got snagged up, which happened a lot, I just went in there and just pushed it off and and went out and moved along. But I did convert more bites on the Sunday. And there was a couple of things. So on the Saturday was an interesting day in terms of how I was thinking, because we've fished, obviously I always want to do well, but with the news of John, it was weighing heavily on those who knew him. He was an interesting guy in as much that the amount of people that said they were really close to him just surprised me greatly. Like everyone's, I was really close to John, and he was such a guy and missed so much. But on that day, I'm not sure how many of you people know about the Bream Lord, which is Marty Gittins. So I don't know Marty very well. We've only spoken maybe once before. But on that day, we I literally bumped into each other in the middle of the river and spent about an hour just drifting down the waterway and having a chat, because I got to the point where I was like just a little bit lost in terms of what for. Anyway, so we just had a chat and it was pretty cool, but definitely not something I'd do in any competition to spend any time not fishing. But in any case, I enjoyed that. On the Sunday, I went back out and did it again and fished and caught fish and fished a couple of banks extensively, like really drowned them out. And then I had to cross to the other side of the river, which was the windy side of the river, and went across and got a kicker. So that was pretty cool. And ended up in 7th place. So that was my best result for the year. So there you have it. All right, that's enough about me. Now, one of the cool things about this round was the fact that Mr. Simon Batman Morley, he made it into the top 3. And yeah, first time we've been able to interview Simon since the show started, so it was really good to see. Anyway, here we go. Here's Simon. So in 3rd place, we have an angler dropping 3 fish for 2.34 kilos, backing it up on the Sunday with another 2 kilo bag of 2.07, giving him 6 fish for 4.41 kilos and 3rd place. I'd like to welcome for the first time to the Bream Fishing Project, Mr. Simon Batman Morley. Welcome, mate.
Thanks, Deethy. Nice to be here.
Yeah, mate. You did it, mate. You became the bat again.
Yeah. It's been a very long year for me to try and make a podium finish, that's for sure.
Absolutely, mate. And you've done it in style in the last round, a bit of a mixed-up round, and qualified.
Yeah. Super happy with that. Would have been the first year I had not actually qualified for the AC if I didn't do it on the last round. So I was cheering to actually,
Oh, mate.
Bit of getting a gimme, as I call it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. No, you've smashed it. It was a great one. All right. So as you know, with this round, we launched up the top of the river, which was a new launch place for us and a new part of the system. None of us had ever fished this. So tell us, how'd you go with your pre-fish? What happened there?
So I had to work Thursday night, so I work afternoon shift. So I didn't get down there till maybe 1:30 on Friday afternoon. Yeah, you know how it goes. The time you pull up and have a chat with everyone, it's now 2:30 and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to get on the water. I just want to get on the water. So yeah, I quickly load the kayak off and jumped on the water. I only went upriver 2 bends just for a quick pre-fish before I had to get back to go to the pub for a feed and a few beers, tell you the truth. Yeah, so I jumped on the water and just really wanted to have a look around, and because, like I said, I've never, ever been up that part of the world before, and it was so beautiful up the back of the river there. Like I said, went 2 bends up, thought I'd worked them out, but I'd been fishing top water, and I knew with that southerly change that was due to hit that afternoon, they would, shut them down on the top water, and it actually did. So, short and sweet. I had great fun on top water, but, just had to change the game plan on day 1 and go for it.
Fair enough. All right. So tell us about your Saturday morning. How'd you go? Was it raining and windy and not that flash, but tell us how you went.
Yeah, it wasn't that flash, but I didn't mind. Like, you were pretty protected in the river, so it was a great call, Chris and the team, to move it to there so we could actually get on the water.
100%.
That was awesome. I had a quick talk with Nordy the day before, and he mentioned some place called the Bull Ring that I'd never even heard before.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, guys in boats were catching them up there. So I thought, all right, I'm just going to paddle up there and have a look. And I didn't even know where it was. I ended up paddling up with Dave Shanahan, and I said to him, do you know where this bull ring thing is? And he goes, yeah, that's where I'm going. I said, all right, I'll go up there with you, and then you just peel off wherever you want to go, and I'll just keep going and have a look around. So we did that, got to the bull ring, and Dave peeled off to his snag, and I went 2 more bends up and thought, oh, this looks good, I'll just start fishing. And it was pretty slow, actually, for me on the Saturday. I didn't catch many fish at all. I think I caught maybe 5 undersized fish and only 3 legals for the whole day.
Wow.
I started off with, I got one at about 8:30, and I thought, oh, okay, they're here, and it was actually a really good fish. It was a 35 forker.
Nice.
I got it off a snag that 2 guys had already fished who paddled past me, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then worked out that they were lying on the timber that was under the water, so I was just looking for the brown logs that I could see in the distance under the water, and I was using the Sprat 75 from Hurricane on a 32
nail bomb
jighead. Yeah, thanks, Stevie. Yeah, and purely so I didn't get snagged all the time when I was throwing around those sunken logs and timbers.
Yeah, right. And you found that was pretty effective?
Yeah, well, when I got the first one off the snag, I thought, okay, they're on the snag. So then about 20 metres down, there was a submerged log sitting on the bottom. I drifted past it and it had fish all over it, so I give it a couple of minutes, come back, give it a wide berth, come back around, and then, put a cast in. I think I got a 30 tipper, and I thought, okay, there's 2, that'll do. Start. Dave Shanahan then come up and we had a chat, and he had already had his 3. He got his 3 off the first snag he went to, and I was like, okay, they're here, but just got to nut them out. And as Dave come down, I watched him fish the snag that I drifted past because I was on the other side of the river and hadn't fished. And Dave, fished around that, didn't get anything, come down, had a chat. He went down river further, and I turned around. I thought, I'm going to go back up and have a look at that snag that Dave looked at or fished. And, then Dave proceeded to come up behind me, which I didn't know, and I cut over to the snag and had 2 shags sitting on it. And I thought, oh, surely. So you know what shags do when they take off?
100%.
Yeah, and I just, pitched the Sprat in there, and I think it only got half a metre under the water, and, the line just went tick, set the hook, and it was a 37 forker, and it just swam straight out at me with its mouth open, straight in the net. So
wow.
Shocked as I was.
Wow, 37 forker. You're unlucky not to get big bream with that.
Yeah, I know. It only went 970 grams, so definitely must have been up there spawning and, weight, I presume.
100%. So that was your 3 fish for the day. So 3 fish.
3 legals for the day, yeah. I think I caught maybe 3 undersized ones after that, and, just couldn't turn another legal. I thought, okay, at least I got 2 okay ones and 1 little one. I said, that's a good start.
Yeah, 100%. And the Sprat coming through for you again.
Yeah, it's dynamite. Well, I was talking to Dave, and he pre-fished up there, and I didn't even know. He was using machete and the gun, so I just thought, well, I'm going to use the sickle. It's very translucent in the water. Looks like a prawn when it slowly falls. So, I just run with the sickle all weekend. Just totally different colour to what Dave was throwing. And, I think that's why it worked on snags that Dave had already fished. And, so stole his fish off his snag.
Very good. So you got a really good bag on day one. So you only got your 3 fish, but 2.34, one of the bigger bags for the comp. And in second place on day one, I think you said, is that right?
Yeah, I was close to that. I was leading for a long time. I'm just going, what's going on here? I thought this river would be loaded with big fish, which it was, as you see by the results on day 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ben Hanscom come in and, bombed that. I think it was 2.46.
Yeah, that's right.
He didn't weigh one for big bream, which I was surprised, and I was still holding big bream at 970 grams on day 1. I'm just going, well, this is great.
Fair enough. Until, it was day 2, Marty Gittins came through. He had it for a while, the Bream Lord.
Yeah, Marty banged, I think, a 102. Well, I was still coming in at that stage because I had the later finish, and I just heard the crowd erupt, and I was like, someone just either dropped a really big bag or as you say, Marty pipped me bream. Then the Bream Lord got pipped himself, so he wasn't.
He did. He was still cheering. All right. Second overnight. What was your plan for day 2?
I was just going to do rinse and repeat, mate. And I was planning to push further up the system. I hate fishing with crowds. So if we go, I can paddle 9Ks to get away, I'll paddle 9Ks to get away.
Yeah.
I just like fishing by myself, doing my own thing. You turn around, hear someone yell, woohoo, like that's in my head. So I try and get out of that stuff and just go do my own thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. We went up. Dave stopped at his snag on the bull ring. I went up 2 bends. Yeah, just went to a smaller snag that had 2 shags sitting on it again. Flick the sprat in there. The sprat skips like really well across the top of the water. So I found if you skipped it in, it didn't spook the fish that were there because it wasn't like a plunk. It was like a so I skipped it in the back of the snag. Very first cast, pulled a 28 forker. I was like, well, they're here still. That's a good sign. And the day just grew from there. The Hobie boat come up. I went to the next snag, second cast into that snag, hooked another 28 fork. I'm like, okay, this day's starting the way I wanted it to. I wanted to get a bag early so I could just relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think about, maybe another, I think it was before 8:30, I had 3 fish in the well on the second day. So I was cheering.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah, way better than 3 legals all day on the first day. I was just happy to get a bag. That's what I went out for on the second day. I thought if I can just get a bag, I'll be happy. So to have it before 8:30 and then monkeys off your back, you can just cruise around. Yeah, Dave Shanahan come back past. I think Chris Byrne and his dad were up further. Again, they were up fishing a flat where they were yesterday, on the Saturday, sorry. Yeah, so Dave went up past them. I fished for a little bit more, got another, I think it was a 29 fork, so I got one upgrade there.
Right, yep.
Up 2, so I just paddled up past Chris, give him a wide berth, went up around the corner. Dave was on one side, so I just went to the other side, and we sort of crisscrossed, leapfrogged each other. I spotted a pretty good-looking snag about 100 metres up, so I just sort of beeline to it. And it only had 2 little prongs sticking out of the water, but what under the water is what I was looking for, and it had this mad tangle of gum tree under the water. Skipped the sprat in there, let it sink. Right, it was in 4 metres, so it was fairly deep.
Okay.
I just plenty of slack, just let it free fall to the bottom. Yeah, watched the line tick, set the hook, 33 forker. I was like, beautiful. This one actually fought a bit, so it was good to get a fight out of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it in the kayak, like sweet. Because I had 2 28 forks in there, I got the balance beam out, and so I give that snag about 5 minutes the time I sorted which one was the smallest to let go. David come past and he was fishing snags just on the other side up further. I paddled straight back to that same spot, put another cast in, lure sank down, tick, fish come out, 34 fork. I was like, well, this is good. This
is better.
Got 2 28s out for a 33 and a 34, like in similarly off the same snag. And from there, milled around. I think I got a couple of other small legals, but nothing that's going to take them out of the well. Dave went up, got the next big snag up the river. He got a good fish off that. I think it was a 35 or 36 fork. So I was wishing me, but that's the way it goes. I probably should have, in hindsight, went and had a crack at it after David left because I was throwing a different colour. But like I said, didn't think of that until I paddled an hour back down the river and went, oh, you idiot.
Fair enough. And how was that? Was that kind of round out your day then?
Yeah, so worked my way back down. Cicada started singing. Thought, I'll try a soft shell because I got a feel on the soft shell on pre-fish, thinking this could be a secret weapon. But, I think just because of that pressure drop, even with the cicadas singing, I couldn't even raise one on the surface. So, just slowly worked my way back, caught a few more undersized fish and, come back to the weigh-in.
Very good. Very good. Drop 2.07. So another 2.07. So another 2 kilo bag, which is always good if you can get 2 kilos each day.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I was pretty happy with that. I only weighed the 29 fork. It was just over 500 grams. So I was just trying to guess the weight of the other 2 going, I could be close to 2 kilos.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So third place, mate, what did you get to take home for that?
850 buckaroos, which pretty handy because it also qualified me for the AC in November this year.
Yeah.
And so that money just went straight to pay for the entry for that, which was perfect.
Yeah.
So I pretty a free weekend. It was great.
Nice. And in terms of other presents?
Yeah, big prize bag full of Burley Pro stuff and Fish Tech Solution stuff. There's also a few hurricane lures in there, which I'm always grateful to take because I throw them all the time. So
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, a couple of Z-Man lures, a few dial lures. It was a pretty handy prize pack, actually.
Yeah, very nice. And I imagine you got a third place trophy, which you'd be pretty happy about.
Yeah, finally got a trophy for the year. I try and make that an aim every year is to get a trophy.
Yeah.
Just change them every year, you know how it goes on, so you can try and get a collection of a trophy on the shelf. So, yeah, I was actually really happy to stay in third, and with such a tight finish, like I was only 90 grams off actually winning it myself. So, you know, upgrade, I could have been on the number one spot.
Exactly. And look, it actually turned out really well for myself. It was a great comp, good water, new water, yeah, and a very even playing field, which we don't see very often.
No, it was actually a very, very cool tournament, I thought, because, like you say, new water for everyone. I presume local guys might have fished up there before, but we don't know how long ago and, you know, how much a river changes. Yeah, I actually think it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. All right, mate. So actually, two more things I forgot to ask. What sort of leaders are you running for the comp?
So I use the Dialer X-Link FC. I've just found that it's super tough and super sensitive, so I run that. I was only running 5 pound.
Okay. So not too heavy.
Yeah, and luckily none of the snags up there have got any barnacles or anything on them, so they're pretty smooth. I think I only got roughed up a couple of times and just still got the fish out. So
okay, well, that's pretty good going. All right, mate. I reckon that's a pretty good rundown. So, mate, last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Oh, definitely. Chris and the guys, the team from Totally Immersed, they've looked after me for a few years now, so I really appreciate that. All my kayak needs, if you need anything, definitely make your way down to Husky at Totally Immersed there. They have massive range.
Yeah.
Peter Nord from Hurricane Lures. Me and Peter are good friends, have a lot of banter when we get together. It's great fun. His lure is next level. As you know, a lot of people in the top 10 on the weekend, when they got asked what lure were you throwing, a lot of them said the Sprat 75. And just goes to show, mate, that lure is, yeah, it's ballistic. It's crazy. It's just got such a natural free fall, such a natural action on it, plenty of action in the tail. It's like bio-tough material, so you can catch 10, 15 fish and it's still sweet.
Yeah.
So keep it up, Naughty. You're making some good lures, mate, and it's just shown by the amount of people that are using them during the tournaments. Also, Rick Massey from Duro Tackle. But funny enough, when we were down in Tassie early in the year, Rick gave me a call and I had a chat to him at the Bream Round where he had the display of the St. Croix rods. Yeah, and then Rick gave me a call and wanted to know if I wanted to come on board and support St. Croix rods, and which I did. Not many people have seen them. They're an American-based company, rod manufacturer over there. Rick's trying to bring them into Australia. There's more and more range coming into Australia next year. At the moment, I'm running the Legend Elite Panfish, which is one I used on the whole weekend.
Yeah.
2 to 6 pounds, so it's not very heavy. Just the crisp in this rod is ridiculous. Like the accuracy you can get with casting is so good. I'm running the 7-footer. I do have a 6.9 as well. I was just throwing the 7-foot. Just, it's crazy, like really sensitive at the top, but strong enough at the bottom. You just lean back and it will just pull the fish out.
Man.
Yeah, I also have the Avid Panfish, which is another great rod in the range. I had it with me at the weekend. I just had the sickle and tied onto that rod, so I didn't put it down. It was working. It was great.
Man.
Yeah, so thanks to those guys for looking after me throughout the season, and hopefully I can continue on next year and, yeah, do good things.
Very good. All right, mate. Well, good look. Congratulations on your place and getting into the qualifying for the grand final. And, mate, we will see you up in Camden Haven.
Can't wait, mate. Looking forward. It's going to be great fun.
All right, mate. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Stevie.
Okay, fishing.com.au, your one-stop bream lure and tackle shop. Pick up the latest bream tackle, including Muscle Vibes, Cranker Crabs, OSP Bent Minnows, Z-Man Plastics, Eco Gear Lures, and Daiwa Rods, Reels, and Tackle. Same-day shipping, shop where the world champion, the Australian champion, and the current ABT champion shops. Fishing.com.au, online or in-store at shop 18/29 Kiora Road, Miranda. Okay, so one of the new lures I've been trying over the last week or so is the Bent Mini Ziggy 70. So this is out of Force Lures. Adam's got them in stock. You just got to put that into the search bar and you'll find them. Basically, the interesting thing about this is they actually have a unique design with a water inlet in the mouth and outlets at the gills. So what this does, it creates splashes that sound and mimic the fleeing movements of small fish, making it more attractive to topwater predators. So personally, I've used these and caught a couple of fish, including one kicker, and I've only given it one crack, had one go at it. So definitely worked for me. The other thing that I'm pretty keen to have a go of, which I haven't seen in the flesh, is the Strike Pro Astro Shrimp 40. So just a little bit of a different design, stingers on the back, well worth a look. Yeah, fishing.com.au. Rightio, so up next in second place, we have an angler dropping 3 fish for 2.12 kilos on the Saturday, backing it up on the Sunday with an even bigger bag of 2.35 kilos, giving him a total of 6 fish for 4.47 kilos. I have Zack Morozov. Welcome to the show, mate.
How you doing? Thanks for having me, man.
Mate, you had a great comp.
I did. Actually, my best comp to date. So, yeah, it was a awesome result. Raft with it.
Absolutely. And I guess the change in, we were talking before, the change in venues from down the bottom to up the top in the creeks, you said kind of suited you a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, last year at the ACs, we fished down the front and I started to find some really good fish on day 2 and 3. And I thought, yeah, this is going to be my game plan. And then when they changed it to up the rivers, I said, oh no. And then I sort of got there and I was like, man, this looks unreal. And yeah, it just suited my style perfectly with all the bass fishing and stuff that I do in the creeks.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but when I looked at it, I did look at it a little bit on Google Earth, but when I got down there, it was bigger than what I thought.
Oh, yeah. It was like the PN times 2 or 3. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there was heaps of room. So in terms of pre-fishing then, did you get down on the Friday and have a bit of a look around?
I did. I got down probably a little bit later than what I wanted to. I headed down to Gypsy Point, but I ended up launching on the opposite side there. I think it was a private ramp. I don't know if I was meant to launch from there, but there was a few other guys there too, so I wasn't the only one. But yeah, I did get out for a pre-fish from Gypsy Point there, and I went up the Genoa.
Yep.
I just had a look at it. I saw heaps of sand and structure. So yeah, just pretty much went up there, and within 3 casts, I think I had fish chasing the bent minnow, just a rattling bent minnow. And then I was like, okay, I'll leave those fish. Went up again, just kept casting at different bits of structure, seeing if they were in the middle, if they are on the edges. And I've quickly found that, yeah, they were all on the edges and they were super aggressive too. So pretty much included surface in my game plan for day 1. Went up about 100 meters, threw a plastic in, 100 mil wriggler, twitched it out with one of those resin heads. So quite lightly weighted, and straight away I think I had a 35 tipper on, and I was pretty wrapped with that. And then I went up again. I think I threw maybe a jackal chubby. Well, I got another fish, so I was catching them on everything. So I was pretty keen to head up that river for day 1.
Fair enough. And just rolling back to your resin heads, are they the one that Starlow's been producing, or did you make them yourself?
Yes, they're the ones that Starlow made. I did a bit of research before. I mean, last year when I was doing the Black Brim, and everyone had to get a packet of those, so I jumped on board.
Fair enough. All right, very good. All right, so leading into the Saturday, so it was a bit of a windy, rainy start. Tell us how your day was.
Okay, so Saturday took off. The wind, once it came, we thought in the morning, it wasn't going to be too bad. Came around the corner and I was like, oh my God, this is so much worse than expected. I thought I'd find shelter in that stretch of river that I fished on pre-fish, but I quickly discovered that the wind was blowing directly onto those banks, and trying to keep position and fish surface. I found that, I couldn't get those surface lures in there. I had a feeling that the fish might be looking down.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably wasted about an hour and a half of throwing surface in very choppy conditions. Switched to a plastic, weedless, and I had to really let it sit there. So I put lots of scent on, let it sit in the snags, and I think I got a couple fish after about 2 hours, 3 hours of fishing. So it was a very slow start. And I thought, okay, the fish are looking down. I've got to fish right in the snags, and I've got to get into somewhere that's a bit out of the wind. So there was a couple of little side creeks going up there as well. Can't remember the name of them, but headed up in there. There was plenty of fish in there, and yeah, pretty much just, I think I got my bag in those creeks. But yeah, I knew I was going to go there day 2 as well. Another thing I was noticing was back at the start line, a few boys had jackal chubbies tied on as well. And I don't normally throw cranks for black brim. I always think that they prefer jerk baits or surface or things like that. So I tied a chubby on. I casted first cast out on this flat. The wind pushed it right into the bank, into the reeds, and I think it was 2 cranks in. I got a 37. So that was an upgrade fish for me. So yeah, I had a feeling that jackals were definitely going to be my go-to. But I threw it around a bit longer and nothing really. But yeah, it was a very slow day, and I think most guys found it pretty tough on day 1.
Definitely.
Yes.
With your jackal chubby, what were you throwing it on? Was you on like 3 or 4 pound, or how'd that look?
No, I had it on, I think it was maybe 5 or 6, because originally I had the rod rigged for a bit of structure. I knew I'm not too confident on fishing structure with 3 or 4. I know some guys are, but I had a feeling that with being the overcast, a little bit windy, I didn't think they'd have enough time to sort of suss out the leader. They'd be sort of, something came in front of them, they'd sort of just jump on it. So had about 5 or 6. It was pretty windy out on the flat too, so I didn't think that the fish were going to shy away from it.
Yeah, righto. Just out of curiosity, which kayak are you on?
I'm on the Outback.
On the Outback, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And how'd you find that in the wind and all that sort of stuff?
The wind, it's actually, I probably don't stand up in it as much as I do on a Pro Angler 14 in the wind, but it holds up really well. It cuts through the chop really well, so I get getting to spots against the wind it performs quite well. Yeah, no, I loved it. And the other thing was I popped into Bass Angler before I went there, and I said I've got to get me a power pole, and I did, and I'm glad I did because it helped with a few fish. So
yeah, okay. So did you use it while you were fishing or while you were dealing with fish, or both?
But it was a bit of both. So definitely dealing with fish. So in those creeks, I try to be as quiet as possible, so I'm not spooking everything and bashing into logs and stuff. So in the middle of the creeks, at some points it was 1.5 meters. I'll drop down, sort my fish out, cast back in, and I get another fish. So
wow.
I think just being that bit calmer, a bit quieter, it definitely paid off.
Absolutely. All right. So on day 1, you had a pretty good bag. You would have been right up the top there. You had 2.12. Where were you overnight? Do you remember?
I believe I was in 4th.
4th, yeah. So right in the mix.
Yes, I was surprised with that.
Yeah. All right. So that would have, given you were trying to get an AC spot, you would have been feeling pretty good about that.
I was, but I know in the past, anytime I've been sort of in the top 10, the next day I tend to just flunk out. I think I overthink it, and I'm sure most guys have. But yeah, it's sort of, when I look at the past, it's just, one of those things that I'm up there and then just sort of, not sure how the next day is going to go.
Fair enough.
But, this time it worked out a lot better.
It did. All right. So just before we move on to day 2, when you went home, how much sort of re-rigging and retying did you do? Did you do anything?
Probably the main 2 rods that I used, I just retied the leaders. I think there's a bit of frayed braid, so I changed that. Just peace of mind, making sure everything's 100%, and let fate take its way.
Fair enough. All right. So we came into Sunday. So Sunday there was no rain, or not much. There was just a couple of drops. So much nicer. Tell us how your day went.
So Sunday, I know that, straight off the bat, as you said, there was stuff or a lot less wind. So actually, the funny thing is, looking at before I started day 2, I was wondering if I just mix up the whole plan and go up the Wallagura, because I thought I didn't see many people go up there. Looks unreal. And then straight off the start line, I see Simon Morley and Shanahan go up the river, and I said, maybe I should go up there.
Yeah, right.
And I held back. I said, no, just stick to what you're going to do. There's fish there. So took off up the Genoa. I think there was a couple of boys in front of me. Then there was a couple of boys behind me too. So there was a lot more people going up the second day. So I had to just pick a bit of water that I knew had fish and fish it. And what I did was that stretch that I fished in pre-fish, I went straight for that. It was a lot calmer. I could throw a top water in, I could throw a plastic in, fish it a lot slower. And yeah, straight off the bat, I think it was second cast, I got one fish.
Nice.
I'm straight in the well. Next fish was undersized. And then I think 2 casts later, I got my second fish. And I said, all right, this is going to happen. There was a bit of relief there.
Yeah.
And I said, come on, I need another fish. I think I went up about 100 meters, threw a grub in, and I had to cast in so tight to the structure, like just suicide casts pretty much, and just hope for the best. It was a Z-Man grub I was throwing, motor oil, a 1/16 and weedless as well. Pitched it in there, just sort of looked like a bit of nothing. It was just a few snags in the water, right in between the sticks, and just sat it on the bottom, gave it a couple of shakes, and just feel that tick. Set the hook, and this head just came running, shooting up on the surface, came straight out of the snag.
Right.
It was just the perfect reaction from the fish. Swam out towards me, put the kayak in reverse, and I think that was a 37 or 38 tipper.
Right.
Yeah, and after that, I was like, yes, I was so relieved. Yeah, it was a really good feeling, and I thought, okay, I'm in with a shot now. I just got to upgrade some fish, and yeah, we kept going up the Genoa. None of the boys actually fished that stretch on the left there, which was good. So I kept fishing it until I sort of noticed the fish started to die off. Went to find a bit of protection from the bit of wind in one of those side creeks. I can't remember the name again. You probably got it on your maps there, I reckon.
I'll have a look while you tell me.
Yeah. And yeah, went up the creek, and I think second cast in at the start of the creek, I got an upgrade. So it was like a 29 for like a 33. And then upgrade again, just about 10 meters down from that fish. So, yeah, it was good. Got a bit quiet. I came out of that creek pretty happy with the bag.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I can probably maintain that top 10, maybe top 5. Yeah, and I was sort of just pedaling back and just cruising back. I gave myself a bit of extra time to pedal back. I thought I'd try a couple more spots. Caught some flathead. Another funny one was I caught a blackfish on a surface lure.
Really? That's unusual.
Yeah, okay. I had a pack of bream chasing the lure, and I think it was a bent minnow, and they were chasing, and as I brought it just below the surface, this blackfish shot out, smashed it, and took it back in the snag.
No.
It was one of the, coolest strikes, but yeah, most unusual catches I've had.
Fair enough. Mate, one question with your weedless hook, ones were you running, were they nail bombs or?
See, I wanted to run nail bombs, but every time I'd skip cast them, they'd keep slipping off, and I didn't have any glue or anything to keep them on the shank. So pretty much I had to improvise. All I used was just a TT headlock weight. It wasn't a light gauge. I think it was a heavy gauge. And I just rigged up the grub weedless.
Yeah, okay.
As you would, as like a normal weedless rig, just looks a little bit funnier.
Yeah, but still does the job.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So was that it for the day, or did you get any fish on the way back that?
Oh, yes. Forgot to mention, yeah. So there was a podcast that I was actually listening to on the way down. I think, was it?
The Australian lure fishing?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I've listened to it before, and I thought I'd just revise myself again and just see if there's anything I can pick up on. And yeah, I can't remember the guy's name.
So Greg's the host.
Yes. I think it was Chris Wright. Is that the guy?
Yeah. Yep. Chris Wright.
I mean, he was raving on about the bloodworm wriggler and some of the Munros, I think, flick baits.
Oh, yeah.
But the last one he mentioned was the cranker crab. And I mean, for the yellowfin, I mean, we always throw them for those, and they work a treat. But I thought, I know they work on the blacks as well, but it's something that I hadn't thrown the whole trip. So I think I had about half an hour of fishing left, and coming back, and there's a big clay wall, probably 200-300 meter stretch of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that'll be perfect. I'll throw a cranker crab on. It was that white clay, so I threw a black crab on. Sort of contrast quite well on the bottom, cast it out right to the bank, and just sort of shake it down the rock wall. So just keep hopping it down and just erratically shaking the tip of the rod, and just give it a pause. I think it was about 3 casts before I told myself 3 more casts. It probably would have been a few more. Yeah, cast in, and then just felt that tick again, and lift it up, and I saw it on the surface, and I thought, nah, it's not an upgrade. And then as I put it in reverse, it just kept staying down and staying down and staying down. I thought, oh, here we go. Brought it up to the surface, and I said, holy heck, that's an upgrade. So I think I threw out a 33 for a 37, and then my heart sort of just stopped for a second. I started to get a bit shaky, and I thought, oh my God, I could probably maintain the fourth place.
Yeah.
And then coming to the weigh-in, I just wasn't sure. It was sort of, just had to hope. I thought, if it's my time, it's my time. If not, it's not,
Yeah, that's it. Although it would have been a critical upgrade in the scheme of things, I'm sure it would have put you from at least third, but maybe even fourth up into second. So that was pretty good going.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Do you want to talk about the result, or
you're
going to get into that, or?
So moving on from there, so a couple of questions is, what sort of lines and leaders were you running for the weekend?
So pretty much like braid-wise, I'm running mostly Sunline Siglon.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the ADV and I think there's a newer stuff. I can't remember the name of it. It's in a black packaging, but that's pretty much, I've been running it for years now, and I'm pretty happy with the product. So
yeah. And leader-wise for the weekend?
Leader-wise, I'm fishing anywhere from 4 to, I think I had 6 or 7 pound on in some of the heavier structure, anywhere from that Daiwa FC Link to Sunline V-Hard.
Yeah, nice.
So I just had whatever I had from previous trips and just brought that along with me. Can't remember what I put on what, but yeah, that's the rough idea of it.
Yeah, that's you. And look, I am curious, what sort of rods do you like at the moment?
Yeah, it's funny because I think every year I definitely get a new set, not a new set of rods, but I always find something that I like better. And you know how it is, we love tackle. So, yeah. But yeah, I think on the weekend I was using, there was a Samurai rod that I picked up. I think it was a custom one that I had from Complete Angler. It was 7'9".
Wow.
So that was more of a flats rod, if anything. 1 to 4 kilo. That worked perfect. And then I was playing around with a NS Black Hole rod as well that I picked up not long ago. Medusa, I think it's called.
Yeah.
But it's like a rock fishing shore game rod. So it's 7'6", but yeah, 1 to 3 kilo. And that was unreal. Landed a heap of fish on that. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, all that was enough to bring you back with 2.35, so bigger bag on the Sunday, and 4.47 overall, which gave you second place. Tell me, what did you get to take home for second place?
Second place was, I think it was $1,320. So
yeah,
definitely paid for the trip, and it's definitely paid for for me to go to the AC. So I'm not complaining about that at all.
No, that's pretty good going. I was going to say, we always say, we don't do it for the money, but I'm telling you, it helps at the end of the day.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the amount of money spent on fuel to get down there, bit of accommodation, food, grog, whatever it is, tackle, it all pays for it. And yeah, definitely you feel a bit rewarded and privileged just to be up there,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a great experience. Never about the money, but yeah, definitely helps.
Definitely helps. And what else do you get to take home, mate?
Did get it was a bag full of goodies. So it was a bunch of Daiwa plastics. I think it was Strike Pro, some Hurricane lures, jig heads, TT leader. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Burley Pro products as well. So they were the major sponsor.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of, what are they called? Wire connectors or?
Right.
Connector protectors. That's what they call
Connector protectors. Very good.
Yes.
Very good. From Marty Gittins, he's the Bream Lord. So
yes, he is. He was on day one, wasn't he?
He was on day one. And he still is. And you would have got a trophy, I'd imagine.
I did get a nice little trophy.
Yeah.
It's sitting up in the kitchen right now for everyone to look at.
Absolutely. And you also would have got a ticket to the AC.
I did, yes. Just paid for everything today, accommodation, entry. So yeah, it's all happening. Pretty keen for that.
Absolutely. All right, mate. That is a great rundown. So look, before we head off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or you'd like to say thank you to?
Well, I guess the boys at Bass Angler, they hooked me up with the power pole and they told me to give them a shout out if I placed first, but I placed second. I think that's close enough.
Yes, second's great.
But mainly to my partner Chelsea. She's been one of the biggest supporters, and she loves it when I go out, and she's always encouraging me. And I think she's having special shirts made up for me at the AC. So I think she's my biggest supporter, which is,
Yes.
She's great.
So good.
Yeah, and I guess, big shout out to Hobie as well. I've been doing these comps for years, and every year I keep coming back, and I think I'm enjoying them more and more. Some of the places it takes me, I've learnt tons of information. So just speaking to people, just fishing in different locations, and I just take all that info with me everywhere I go now, and I think I've become a more consistent angler over the years. So thanks to Hobie for that as well, and thanks for having me as well.
Perfect, mate. Perfect. All right, mate. That is fantastic. Look, I look forward to bumping into you at the AC, and hopefully get to talk to you again soon after your next placement.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, mate.
All righty. Thanks, DC.
If you are in the market for a new fishing kayak or looking to make some upgrades to your existing kayak, or possibly looking at kayak fishing tournaments, then HWS is the place to go. They have a full range of Hobie kayaks, stock the latest kayak accessories, and are really dialed in when it comes to the best kayak fishing setup for the casual fisher or the tournament angler. hws.com.au, online or in store at Shop 3/638 Pacific Highway, Belmont. James offers free delivery on Hobie kayaks across all Greater Sydney, Central Coast and Hunter. All right, so a couple of things going on. I did pick up a new Lynx the other day to get back out for those quick sessions, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I know there's a bunch of guys out there that are really enjoying the Hobie Lynxes. So if you haven't really gone down and had a look at those, and your weight's an issue and I'd like a lighter kayak, definitely jump on those. Now, the passports that we've been promoting now for under $2,000, there is only the 12.5s left. Oh, I think, to my knowledge, all the 10.5s have been sold, and there will be no more at that price. So you can definitely, if you still want to get those, you can get the 12.5 at $19.50, and James has got some additional specials on that. But I did actually see something new the other day which really caught my attention. So the passports, how they've brought out another range in those, which is the Passport R, which stands for Rotomold, I think. So basically, instead of being like the original ones, which are an epoxy style hull, so a little bit different, these ones are a plastic hull like the original Hobie kayaks. So they're more than the $19.50 you're going to pay for the run out models of the original passports, but a really interesting basic design kayak that is going to be much more bulletproof. So if the Lynx, if you don't like that lighter sort of board, you want something a little bit more substantial, definitely get James to check out those new Passport R's. They come in the 10.5 and 12s. I think, not sure if the 12s are in yet, but the 10.5s are definitely in. And they're a very cool looking kayak. So jump on that, hws.com.au. Okay, so coming in first place with 3 fish on the Saturday with 2.46 kilos. Backing it up on the Sunday with 3 fish for 2.03, giving him a total of 4.49 kilos. I've got Ben Hanscom. Welcome back, mate.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me again.
Mate, congratulations on your win, mate. It's a sensational win. An interesting location and situation.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled. First win. I've been fishing it for 2 years now, and I am absolutely stoked. Can't believe it.
Exactly. You got a win under your belt. You got the first trophy. I don't know whether you had a ticket to the AC, but you've got one.
No, I didn't. It was all sort of riding on this. I wasn't super concerned. If I made it, I made it. If I didn't, I didn't. But now that I've qualified, I'm really looking forward to going. I can't wait.
Definitely, mate. You'll have to go back to the episodes back in the start of last year, mate. There's a couple there. It'll give you a little bit of intel.
Yeah, something to listen to at work over the next few weeks.
It sounds like a plan. All right, mate. So listen, you've got a good history down at Mallacoota, and you've recently won one of the Vic Brooms. But tell us, in leading up to this event, did you get out and have a look around?
Yeah, so I pre-fished the joint pretty hard leading up to the ban out of the boat. Had the long weekend running into the event. Spent the Friday, Saturday, Sunday down there, and rest weekends before that. Obviously fishing all the bottom and top lake.
Yep.
Expecting to be fishing down there in the comp. Worked out a few things. But like to go and check out on pre-fish. Had some pretty reliable spots that have been holding up for quite a while, and was seeing a lot of really good fish in spots where I wanted to see them. And I've had a lot of confidence going into the event or coming up to the event, pending pre-fish. But yeah, we all know what happened next. The weather was crap like it was last time, and I think we're all just stoked they actually got to run the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great call by Hobie to move the event to where they did, and yeah, I still got the same result I wanted, so you're not going to get any back chatting from me about it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it was good. Look, one of the things I liked about it was windy as, but I fished a few banks where it was glassed out in amongst all that wind, so it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, they made the right call. I reckon if you couldn't have went out in the bays on the Saturday, it was atrocious. Like it wasn't dangerous where we were at all. Yeah, it was getting pretty hairy.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So leading in, so now you've pre-fished all the bottom lake and all that. Did you get out on the Friday and have a look around up in the creeks?
Yeah, so travelled down with a few mates. We're staying with a heap of guys. We launched in the top lake. We sort of, I wouldn't say deflated, but I don't know, we didn't want to put pressure on more pressure than was needed on the rivers. So we pre-fished the top of the top lake a little bit, maybe with the chance that we might be able to get in there one day. We all sort of worked our way up the river a little bit towards Cape Horn and sort of worked out a few patterns, caught a few fish, seen a lot of fish, doing what I would say is what I'd want them to be doing, and then sort of come out of the rivers without too much pressure on them and sort of fish the top lake again a little bit, and then, yeah, called it by about midday sort of thing, and went back into Kuta, met up with all the guys, got all the gear ready, set up some camps, and, yeah, settled in for a nice night.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so then leading into the Saturday, what'd you have tied on?
Bent minnow, as usual.
Yeah.
Various lightweighted plastics or unweighted plastics, mussel for good measure, jerk baits, just all the techniques I sort of use down there in Kuta. I didn't really have in mind a spot I wanted to go and flog. I just wanted to work banks and fish techniques that I liked. So
sure.
I had a couple of different things tied on, ready to go, and a few lures sort of pre-rigged that I could chuck on quickly if I seen fish doing different things, and sort of went with that.
Fair enough. All right, Saturday morning comes around. It's not too windy where we started, but you could see the wind was around. Tell us how it went for you.
So made the paddle all the way down to the bottom end of Gypsy Point, sort of across the river from Coleman's Inlet. There's a couple of jetties there on the point, just off the back of the flat. And, well, I was going to paddle past it, but I just looked at it and I thought, it looks good. I'll stop here and make a start. Just threw the bent into the edge, started getting perch straight away. Only little ones, which were pesty bloody things. But yeah, a couple of them out of the way and got me first fish in the well, which was about a 600 grammer, I think.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah, it was a good start. And then pretty quickly after that, I fishing the jetties and changing up between the bent and the sprat. Sort of, I filled my bag in about half an hour, and yeah, sort of was encountering a couple of smaller fish at that point. So decided to make a move off there and started heading further down.
Right. Was there much, like in terms of surface and then going to plastics, do you get more on surface or more on plastics or hard bodies, or how'd that look?
In the past, I probably would have persisted more with surface, but the way the lake's been fishing over the last 12 months, the surface hasn't been as productive. Like, you still get obviously plenty of fish, but I've sort of forced myself to know when the time is to sort of put it down. So if I have half a dozen casts and I'm not raising any fish or I'm not seeing any fish coming up, I'll move back to a plastic or something like that, or I'll throw a jerk bait depending on where it is.
Sure.
But it's still the number one option for me. If I pull up onto a bank that's got timber, it's got structure, it's got flats, I'll pull out the jerk bait, bent or any other surface straight away. And yeah, if I'm not seeing any life or I'm not getting any life back, I'll go to something else.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right. You had a bag nice and early, which is kind of cool. Tell us how you went about upgrading that.
So I paddled up towards Cape Horn. I was just sort of sounding along the edges there, seeing a few fish, but sort of sitting a bit deep for what I wanted to do. So I made my way onto a little deep flat there called Grandstand. Some of the locals and that, well, probably most people know about it, but it's sort of a deeper sort of flat. It's about I don't know, 800 to 1,200 deep, depending on the tide. The fish sort of stack up around it. It's just whether or not the wind gets up, whether they push onto it or not.
Yeah.
So I sort of was sounding along that. Actually, sorry, I've seen Tyler before that. He had his power pole stuck, so I had to go and help him bloody get that out.
Didn't want to leave him? Just leave him? You didn't want to just leave him?
Nah, we were fiddling around with it for a while, and then I said stuff you because he was in the wind, and I just pulled his bloody latch on him, and he had to float off. So I think the Hobie boat sorted him out after that. But no, I paddled out past him and was sounding the edges as marking fish. I'm like, right, I'll just go to the head of the flat upwind, and I poled down as soon as I got shallow enough that it'd reach. And first couple of casts with the jerk bait, I banged me biggest fish in the bag, which was a 950 grammer, which was good on the double clutch.
Solid.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. So long cast, tell us how that looks.
Yeah, so 45 degrees with the wind out over the edge and just working it back towards the flat. As soon as I got it on the flat, it got clunked, and yeah, that big black just shook its head all the way to the boat, didn't do anything.
Right.
Just plonked him in the net, and beauty, that's gets rid of that real small one.
100%.
Yeah, so thought, well, they're eating jerk baits, I'll persist with that. I got a couple more fish, but nothing decent. Started getting a couple of flathead, and I thought I'll leave this and I'll come back when the wind gets a little bit more. Just sort of worked my way over to the rock wall, picking up bits and pieces, nothing of stature, and then worked my way around Cape Horn, started fishing the flat on the inside, on the downstream end. I met Jack Gammy at that point. We were just having a chat. I was talking to him about his win at overseas. Congratulations, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we were just drifting, having a chat, just leisurely. He missed a fish, I missed a fish, I ink, and then we're both like, oh, well, we're not doing each other any favours. Let's go away from each other. So
Yeah.
I ducked over to the rock wall to have a look, because the day before I'd picked up the pattern on the rock wall, but they were very absent. I couldn't see them doing what I wanted to do, so I gave that about 10 minutes and turned around and started paddling back to Cape Horn.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of your bag, was that it for the day?
No, sorry. I did go after that. Sorry, I went back around Cape Horn. I went back to the grandstand. I was just wafting a sprat in there whilst drifting in and clunked an 850, which threw out I think it was just under 600. So that was a really nice upgrade. I was stoked with that. And then I sort of gave that flat probably, I don't know, an hour and a half after that, because I thought, if I get one more of them, I'm laughing. And Jack at that time too, he come around and we were both fishing the flat together, having a chat. And then I sort of moved off because I just kept getting flathead after that. And then, yeah, I sort of marked a few fish in the middle of the river in Gypsy Point, about 2 metres.
Oh, yeah.
Just paddled over a bit of a school. I'd fished a few banks and stuff on the way back and caught some squeakers, nothing special. And then, yeah, I paddled over this school of fish. I'm like, I can't cast at them. So I turned around. I threw a Munros in on a 120th. It's in this new colour that they're bringing out. Can't tell you the name of it, but just let that sink, hopped it twice and clunked a 700, which threw that 600 out, which got me my bag. Because as soon as I culled that and put it in the bag, I pretty much had to hightail it back.
Yeah, right. Pedal hard. But with your Munros, let's talk about that. Was it the paddle tail?
Yeah, so it was the paddle tail. It's just prototype colour that Al's working on at the moment. He gives Bowen a lot of the different colours to trial. Bowen and I had been using them the weekend before in a different comp, and he just lent me a heap of them because I liked them. And yeah, I tied one on just as thought, why not? And that was what I threw at those deeper fish. They sink a little bit quicker than the sprat on the same weight, and they're a bit denser.
Mm-hmm.
So I cast it back downwind as well to help with the cast distance, and yeah, ate it after a hop or two.
Very good. And it looks like they've got, you said you have prototypes, but it looks like they've got about 20 different colours going on there too.
Yeah, he's always fiddling with different bits and pieces. Bowen's always got different colours he's trialling. Yeah, some are mixed match, some are multicolours. There's some interesting ones in the range. They're quite a good soft plastic, very underrated.
Yeah, okay. Very nice. Very nice. All right, mate. So paddling back to the weigh-in, now you didn't know this at the time, but you had the biggest bag. What were you thinking? Do you think you were a shot, or where do you think?
I thought, being in the river, I thought, oh yeah, I've got a good bag, but I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be leading. I thought it'll be close, like top 5 sort of thing. But
sure,
yeah, the rivers did what kind of expected the rivers to do and not produce those big bags that we would have seen down the front had we been there. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Leading out on the Sunday, tell us about how your Sunday went. Did you head back down and rinse and repeat, or what that looked like?
Yeah, so pedalled back down to that same start spot. There's a lot less traffic coming behind us too, because I think it didn't fish as well down there for a lot of people. A lot of people changed it up. I got a few perch again on the bent minnow on that edge, sort of started a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Fished a different jetty as well. And then I got a couple of risers, not certain they were brim, and was sort of, not really getting heaps up. I was sort of at the point where I'm like, do I just keep going? And I marked a school of fish on the side imaging out a little bit wider, about 1.5 meters of water. So I grabbed the sprat, threw it out there, sunk it down, 2 hops and clunk. I got a 750.
Nice.
Which was, in the first 10 minutes of fishing, I was stoked, absolutely stoked with that.
Absolutely. Leading the comp, and you get out, not quite a kicker, but pretty close.
Yeah, no, it was end up being my biggest fish for the day. I'm thinking, beauty, that's a great start. I just, need 2 more of them. I should have hung around, but I forced myself to move on. I kept going along. I picked up another small fish a little bit further along. Couldn't tell you if it was on the bent or something else. I cannot remember. But he was only 30 tipper.
Yep.
Picking up a few small ones around the flat as well. So I'd sort of made the decision to move down. I fished a couple of banks on the way. Didn't really pick up anything, and then thought I'll just call into Palmer's. There wasn't enough, not Palmer's, sorry, the grandstand. There wasn't enough wind on it, but I managed to pick up another sort of, it was a little bit bigger than that fish. I can't remember exactly what it weighed. It was like 500 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it was just a little bit quiet. I was still marking fish around that deep flat, but I just couldn't pick them up, couldn't get them with the jerk bait, just flathead. It's getting small fish, so but I'll head over to Cape Horn. Doesn't look like anyone had fished the jetty, so went and fished the jetty and plucked a 650 gram fish off it straight away. Just flicked a sprat, same again, in under the jetty, twitched it out and got clunked, got him out, which was awesome. And then I threw back in there a little bit further up after I'd put that fish in the well and pulled out another one, which upgraded that 500 or whatever it was a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was pretty happy after that. I had a half decent bag and then sort of just moved my way around, went down to a different bank and just was just throwing surface in on the edge, sort of had nothing, threw jerk baits again, just kept getting flooded and went back to the sprat, which seemed to be the lure of the day at that point, and picked up another like 620 gram yellowfin.
Yep.
Which he was quite a big fish, but he just didn't have any weight. He was paper thin.
Yeah, okay.
Which was a bit unfortunate, but I was like, right, I've got 2 kilos now. That's good. Bumped into Dill, Pace. We'd sort of paddled down together in a way and worked opposite banks and stuff. And then he was coming back and he said he's going to go back to where we started. And I was like, yeah, cool, righto. So I sort of fished there for a bit longer and didn't really have much luck. Went from there back over the grandstand, same thing. Drifted that a couple of times, just small fish. I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking at this point I want the same bag as the day before. Just because I had my bag, that yellowfin went in the bag around 10 o'clock. So I was paddling around, fishing different banks, trying different techniques. Just sort of couldn't pick up anything decent. Missed a few fish here and there, but nothing special. I went back to where I started. I got a fish to come up, but couldn't get him to eat. And then I fished out deep there a little bit, and I got one up to the net, and he was the exact same length as the small one.
Yeah.
Or the black that was anyway. The one, I think the yellowfin and the black weighed the same.
Right.
So I just took the black out, and they were exactly the same because I'd gone to turn my scales on and weigh him, and the scales weren't working.
No.
They needed to calibrate. So I threw that one back, just thinking it's got to be bigger to me to go in the live well, and fished a few other spots, same thing, couple of fish that were similar size, and just couldn't get anything bigger. Tried the mussel on the rock walls, picked up a few more fish, nothing big. Fished some tea tree, fished the jetties, got some perch there, and I'm just at this point I'm just stressing, thinking it's not going to happen. Bumped into a few guys, said they had good bags. I ended up making my way back, residing into the fact that I wasn't going to win it because I didn't think I had enough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking while you were saying. It's like you sound like you're starting to wear
rambling on a bit, but it just I was stressing out.
Yeah,
I just wanted that one fish.
That's it. But you're thinking, I would need that one fish, but in reality, you already had the fish.
Yeah,
But you didn't know.
He couldn't tell me that on the day.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, mate. Look, it sounds like it was a really great comp in terms of fish numbers, and you got fish on different things, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, yep.
What colour are you liking in the sprat?
The cleaver. It's about the only colour I own.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And in terms of fishing the creeks and that, what leaders were you running?
Pretty much just run 4 pound on plastics and then 6 or 8 pound on hard bodies, depending on which rod it is. 8 pound on bent minnows, and I don't know, it was a mixture of 6 and 8 on the jerk baits and stuff like that. I think the Muss had 4 pound leader as well. Yeah. Nothing special there.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Nothing special, but a good result.
Yep.
All right. So you ended up with 4.49 kilos and the win. Tell us what you got to take home for the win.
$2.5 cash, which was unreal. There's the edge rod, which I've been informed is worth about $800, which I nearly fell over when I got told that.
Lovely rod.
Oh, yeah, it feels really nice in the hand. And then, swag of bloody gear from Fish Tech and Burley Pro and stuff as well, and all the other sponsors. It's unreal what they give out at these events. It's just can't believe it, eh?
Yeah. And you got 2 other things, mate?
Yes, got a trophy.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. Goes next to a couple of the other ones.
Yep, first place.
Yeah, and then got the ticket to the AC, which is really cool.
How good is that? So, mate, just a couple of weeks, probably maybe before this comes out, you'll be up at Camden Haven and doing your best.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Full yellowfin, but I'd go into it with no expectations, just looking forward to it to have a bit of fun. And if it's anything like the Mallacoota one last year with the briefing night and the dinner night and stuff like that, hanging out with good friends, it's, that'll be enough for me. It'll be good.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah.
All right, mate. One last thing before we shoot off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity on this podcast. Hobie and the crew for all the work they do. Bet it would have been a pretty stressful week for them leading up to the event, given that they'd already had to cancel one due to the weather.
Yeah.
They do a stellar job with all their events, run them very well. I'd like to thank Mrs. here at home. She lets us go out and do a lot of fishing, a lot more than most people. She's really good there. Who else? The team at Miller's, I'm not sponsored by them or any of that sort of stuff, but I had a couple of broken rods and they sorted me out with some new stuff at a fraction of the cost of what it would be to replace it in store. So I really appreciate Tom and Ian up there for sorting us out there. Bowen sponsor Alan, he's helped us out with some Munros here and there. Good lad. And all the other competitors, and congratulations to all the other winners.
Fantastic. All right, mate, we're going to leave it there. I look forward to bumping into you at the Australian Championships and see how hopefully you go well in the Vic Bream final as well, which you won't be at. Well, you're
No, I've got prior commitments to that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame. Looking forward, well, one day I'll get over there and have a fish at Nelson. I'm looking forward to it, but should be right. I'm looking forward to seeing you up there in Camden Haven.
Yeah, looking forward to it too, mate. All right, have a good night. Thank you.
Righto. Cheers, Davey.
All right, so there you have it, everybody. So, look, this was another great round. I was really, aside from the obvious, I really enjoyed my time there. I think as a backup location or even a first location up in the creek was just awesome. It held the amount of anglers, which everyone's like, oh, there's going to be too many people. I don't think that was the case. I certainly had plenty of room to fish. We ended up with 77 anglers there, which was a little bit down on normal, but that was obviously due to a couple of changes. But definitely it would be my most favourite round from last year in terms of the fishing. Good to see Simon there. Good to talk to Zack, and then Ben Hanscom coming in first place, absolutely smashing it. All right, next couple of weeks, we are leading into the first Hobie Round. Now, they have made a change to this, and they've gone from lake tyres because of the weather conditions or the lake conditions down there. They swapped it over to Gippsland Lakes, I think out of Eagle Point. So check out Hobie for that. But there are going to be some monster bags pulled out of here. We could crack our biggest bags. It is a midweek competition, so a little bit harder for some people. But if you can get there and do the double header, go to Gippsland Lakes, then double back up to Bem River. It's going to be a great week. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I think some people are going to catch some big fish and a lot of fish. So definitely jump on that. And last but not least, I don't think we've even talked about the collective for this show. So we are having a great time. We've had Brett Getty come and join in the collective itself and had some chats with him, which is obviously a bit of a treat for those guys there because they can actually ask him live questions. And we've recorded most of it, but not all of it. Some of the chats that happen after and before and after are better than the main show. So definitely, if you want to have a look at the collective, come along and join in. It's breamfishingproject.supercast.com and join in there. We'll get you linked into the Facebook page and come and join in the fun. All right, I think that's enough. It's the longest intros and outros I've done for a long time, but yeah, an extra special episode to this one. All right, thanks for that, and I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired, and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.